Hello, hello, hello. I just realised that my music cut out already. Welcome to WooTube. My name is Baran Woo. Oh, that's not the deck we're playing today. Sup, Phil? How we doing? I hope everyone's well. I am not well still. I have the same cold that I had last week. It's kind of different, but it hasn't gone. So, yay. I've got a box of tissues and a glass of water next to me, and I might be diving for both of them at multiple times. Um, we shall see. Um, so what I thought I'd do today is I've prepared stuff. Like we've got stuff prepared. It's like, oh my word. Um, in the form of I've done some breakdowns on why hasn't this worked? I've done some breakdowns on um some startup runner decks, which I thought we would kind of look at sort of what this is basically after a conversation that uh, various people, including myself, were having in free level clearance startup section yesterday, kind of on what cards should you include in deck building, and what shouldn't you. And so I came up with like this idea of kind of creating this sort of toolbox of cards that you could like look into. And actually, whilst looking into that, I found that it was kind of I kind of pushed myself into doing something else. So I'm going to get into that in a second, but I've essentially made a little breakdown of kind of how many econ cards, how many draw cards, things like that. How the decks which have won startup events, um, what they've been made up of. Um, and we're gonna we're gonna kind of have a look at that in a second. But I'm just gonna hopefully, if JNet works, please work JNet. I was just gonna kind of jam a quick game. Oh, this is not looking good tonight. Haven't been on JNet this weekend. Has it been risky for other people? How's it faring right now? Um, let's just try and save it as a yes. Okay, we're there. Right now, let's see if I can edit it just so that I make sure. That's right now. So I thought I'd jam a like a good startup runner deck to start off with. Um, and I haven't really played much Padma in startup since since the ban list happened in standard. Obviously, it didn't happen in startup. Um, just because it's kind of not my thing to play what is inherently the strongest deck, and Padma is probably probably the strongest deck right now. And we can have a little look at that in a second to see if that's actually the case. But certainly, my kind of uh, from my research this afternoon, yeah, there's essentially kind of three decks which are pretty much the sort of the top tier, um, and Padma is certainly one of them. And yeah, it's not really my usual style to play other people's decks. I normally am not very good at playing other people's decks. I have done the wrong side. Hey, I have picked the wrong side. Okay, it's Corp. Excellent start. No, they are not. It's fine. Um, uh, oh, we've got Odal. We're gonna get smashed. At least we're playing like good meta decks, eh? Um, okay. I also didn't pick startup. Yes. Oh, this is an excellent start. Hey, hey. Well, we're just gonna like Andre this one out. This is gonna be fine. Let's not tell Odal that we are not playing standard. seems perfectly fine, so I'm just going to keep it. And we're going to like slam through this game as a warm up because I'm clearly not quite there yet. Um, this has been a absolutely excellent start. So trebuchet is the like the punish here, right? If we go like sure gamble, fries, run, potentially still worth it. I might go sure gamble, fries, no free lunch, run. Uh, put them down to what, 5? Oh no, but hard hitting news because we're not actually playing startup, are we? Um, good, good stuff. Um, so we don't have clot and we don't have misdirection, and I feel like this is not going to go very well. Um, do we think we can dirty laundry? Probably not. That's like not great. Right, I'm just gonna kind of hope that this hits archives. I really want it to hit archives, just so that I can dirty laundry archives for value. And then we'll see. For anyone just joining, I have accidentally queued up a startup game. Oh, great. Okay, now I don't want it to hit anything, so that's fine. I've accidentally queued up a startup game into a standard deck. So this is going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. Um, yeah, and I'm playing against Odal, so like I have like close to zero chance here. Can I draw? I don't know if I want like that many cards in my hand. I could put down a cleaver, gets through border controls. If I find a boat, it's not that great because I can't really afford to do anything with it. I might draw once more. Now I found a boat. Um, so I probably want to save this rigging up now. I don't think I have 2 cleavers. I think I'm gonna have to throw out this pinhole. They're only gonna be on Rashida. Probably want to keep this. This is money. This is money. Do I throw out the diesel then? Probably not, right? I think I throw out a prepaid. Take 2 here. Or I installed a prepaid. Gonna have to then pop a no free lunch to get through anything. Maybe that's okay. Probably not. Let's take 2 and we'll throw out the prepaid and we'll. I think we throw out the pinhole. Oh, I've got to discard another. Oh, this feels rough. Really rough. I kind of want the into the depths. Let's throw out Day Laundry. Yeah, somewhat of an expected Rashida because this piece of ice suggests that. Um, so after we've been smashed at this game, which we very kind of unintentionally played, um, we're going to talk about the research that I've done today. Yeah, I put like thought into this. I actually went archives and all. Fermenter. Is that good enough for me right now? So we can get this down. We can like into the depths R&D, which is probably fine. I mean, we're just gonna get absolutely demolished by hard hitting news. Is there any chance we can get through both of these? Maybe. Like Bulwark. I guess we probably need our cleaver down as well to do that because border control is a thing. If this is a border control on R&D, then we're in sad times. Yeah, sure. Um, if it's anything but a border control, then we're okay. What's the net card ban? Oh right. Oh right. So I had unexpectedly uh played a startup deck. I forgot that would be an issue. Sorry about the waste of time. Yeah, all right. So look, it was a slow start to my brain tonight, but I think we got enough people now that I can just talk about what I was actually going to do. So so this is what I've been looking at today. Let's pull this up. Can people see that? Or maybe not. So I might need to quickly work out. I can just put a second window capture in here, right? I think. Let's go add window capture. We'll do that. And we'll pick this. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a bit big. It's a bit small. Right. So, is that readable for people on like phones and stuff? I can probably make it a bit bigger actually. So this is what I was looking at today. I was kind of going through decks which have startup decks which have done well at um, a competitive level. So we're kind of like we're not looking at my usual like level of jank today. This is like competitive try hard stuff. Um, but mainly just because it's like a really good way of actually breaking down um, like how many of certain cards you should put in your decks. Because I think it's probably the question which comes up the most often that I kind of see from like newer players. And there's always like you always throw out your ideas of what it should be, but I think it's actually the easiest it's ever been with startup because we've got a nice small card pool that we can actually look at some winning decks and we can pull apart how many cards they have of each thing. So I need to kind of break down my options, kind of what I've used here, and meanwhile I can get up the decks in question. So hopefully I have them already here. So nuclear submarine is what we were kind of just about to play, which is this deck here. And if I pull this over here, that should be readable. I guess it is not apparently. So let's oh, that's annoying. It's like centered it. Now, if I uncenter this, is this going to ruin everything for later? Probably. We're going to find out though. Um, so let's, I mean, this is like so risky based on like being able to successfully stream at all later on. But there we go. That's kind of worked. There we go. We can all see that, right? Curious about optimized Essa in startup from September ANR. Yes, Essa is possibly the most interesting, and we'll get to Essa last because she actually is the most interesting out of everything which I kind of came up against. So let me just quickly break down how I've kind of done these different categories of cards. So we've got econ cards. I think that's the most obvious. These are ones which give you money. Um, they have to actually give you money for me to call it an econ card. And I will only be counting econ cards if they give you at least 3 credits, like 3 positive net credits, or more. Because if you could play a card which said gain 2 credits, you wouldn't put it in your deck, or you shouldn't put it in your deck, especially if it doesn't do anything else. Because that card essentially, if you draw that card and then you play that card, that's 2 clicks, gaining 2 credits. You could have just clicked for 2 credits, right? So we need to be gaining at least 3 credits for a card to be considered an econ card. And I'll get into some weird things where we've got some cards which are 0.5 later. Draw kind of similarly, like we need to be drawing like at least 3 cards more than we would normally be. And all of this is based on like the assumption that you're kind of playing your cards sensibly. So if you're only installing them at times where you're going to be able to use them a lot. Then we have tech cards, and the tech cards in Start at the moment is pretty much 1 card, and that is pinhole threading, which you'll see that most of the decks are running 2 or 3, and that I would call a tech card. A tech card I would count as something which can be very powerful, but it's only powerful in a very certain situation. So in Startup, these are obviously incredible at getting rid of a lot of the nasty game-winning assets which are out there, things like Drago and Dr. Keeling, things like that. Can also be just used to slow the corp down a lot, and deal with their kind of game-winning upgrades, things like Void. Okay, but if the corp is playing none of those cards, if they don't install anything in a server, for instance, which isn't an agenda, then technically your tech card does nothing, apart from maybe check that it is a agenda. There are a couple of other tech cards which we'll have a kind of look at as we go through. And interestingly, no free lunch is obviously a big consideration as a tech card. I have actually counted it as an econ card, but I've always included when there's NFLs. So this is actually like 2 NFLs, 2 no free lunches on top of the 5 tech cards, which are in this top nuclear submarine deck. Then we've got a number of breakers. Breakers, I've included anything which can break or can get through ice. So that includes endurance, that includes botulus, that includes inside job. Because you'd count Mayfly as a breaker, so you count inside job as a breaker. It's essentially things that deal with ice specifically. We've got engine pieces. So these are pieces which technically do nothing unless there's other stuff going on. And the most common ones are things like turbine, leech, and there's a few others. But essentially they kind of do nothing on their own. It's hard to evaluate them because turbine is technically like bonkers good in terms of an econ card as long as you're breaking ice with breakers. But if the corp installs no ice, or if they install no ice, which is higher strength than any of your breakers, your turbine does nothing. So it's an engine piece. And then we have win cons. These in Startup are essentially all multi-access, with the exception of some sabotage, which I'd also call win cons. These are the ways that you are going to close out the game quicker. And I think the most interesting thing about this, and probably where it gets like to really working out what the best quantity of something to other things is, that if you consider that your engine pieces and your win cons are all kind of late game stuff, like engine pieces tend to not do anything in the very early game. Win cons might do something like turn 1, turn 2. It's normally not a good time to be using them because they normally cost money or they cost resources or something. So these are more kind of things which are late game. You obviously need a certain number of breakers But all of these like engine pieces and win cons, if you have too many of them, then you need to consider what your deck is doing. That like like that's probably where you might be lacking in econ and lacking in draw and things like that, because it's got to come from somewhere, right? We've only got a certain number of cards in our deck. So these are, like I say, these are all kind of decks which have come first or second or I think third, but in like the large tournaments. So this was Nuclear Submarine from Dublin Circuit Opener, Startup Circuit Opener. It came first, and you can kind of see the breakdown here. And what I kind of really want to focus on is the 21 econ cards and then draw, because I think this is where you want to start around your building, right? And 6 draw is a really interesting kind of stat as we go down this list. And that would be, I think, maybe my tip when we get to the bottom of this, of where you actually should start, because um, it's very rare that we have less than 6 cards which are specifically there to draw. I've also included like tutors here. So here in the 21 econ cards, I've hey Dan, how you doing? I've included econ. I've included Into the Depths as an econ card, because I think the kind of this can be seen as an econ card. It's kind of like a dirty laundry, but it can also be used as a tutor. So this is like an additional draw card, kind of like tutors are not quite draw, but they do sort of the same thing. So this is anything up to sort of 9 draw cards. And there's a little star here for the fact that Padma can charge up some of her draw engine. So she's actually got a little bit more draw than it looks like. We have Fortissimo. So this is a deck which came second, I believe, at also the Dublin CO. And here we see like a monumental amount of econ. So we've got 27 econ cards. As I was going through, I also kind of do you think the card would be very different if it was called Into the Depths? Maybe it would give a different slant to it, wouldn't it? So here we can see a deck which is kind of all about just econ and draw, and that is broken down to the fact that this deck has got very few very few pieces which are kind of there for the late game. There's no engine pieces here at all. It's all just breakers and money, and then there's one win con, which is a single copy of the twinning, and then you're just focused on making money and getting draw. And this kind of shows that like you can. We're also like very svelte on our breakers. We're on single breakers, so obviously this can have other issues um, in terms of problems that you might run into, but we've got inside jobs as another option here, and there's always the backup of a tunnel vision. But yeah, this is just a whole bunch of money and draw, some tutoring, and this deck did very well. So this is like, this is the probably about the top that you could aim for in terms of econ cards here. Yes, Leech's engine and Shesva is econ, because Shesva, you can install it even if you don't have any breakers. You can still use that money. You can use it to trash stuff on centrals. You can use it to pay for like say they put a managam on centrals, something like that. You can use it to pay for your Thule tax. So I would still count Shesva as econ, even though it's like, yes, it's tied up to a specific thing. Yeah, conditional econ source, absolutely. So conditional econ, I've counted as econ. We can't break it like I can't break it down too much because it just gets ridiculous, and I wanted to keep this kind of workable. I did consider kind of giving cards a certain ranking, like is this like a full uh if this is like I was wondering whether I could break it down and give cards rankings. So like Sure Gamble would be one econ card, whereas Carpe Diem in a deck that isn't Sable would be like 0.75 on an econ card, and like, Endurance would maybe be like two breakers worth of breakers because it's like that good. Then I realized how long that would take, and thought about some of the technicalities and how difficult it gets. But what I essentially want to bring out of this is that hopefully by next week, I'll make some kind of spreadsheet so this is very much like workable. Ysenga saying money and draw being the whole deck isn't what they want from optimal performance to look like. Me neither. Um, but sometimes like just money and draw and good play gets you there. I mean, UK Nats and uh, someone took the 419 deck. I can't remember who played it, but they came in sixth and they had no win con on there, not even a single wake. Um, we have Matria Sable, which I believe was played by Source in the chat. I think this was the one that you took, right? First at Metropole Grid. Um, so this was a really like one of the best tournaments to look into because it had the biggest player count. So we've got like the best kind of idea of what's actually going on. And here, so we've got actually like slightly less draw than I would have imagined. Um, but it is like quite you get quite a lot from these draw engines. So each of these Earth Rises is six, and the verbal, as long as you find it early enough, is gonna like get you through your deck. And it makes sense because Source was on career fairs, so you kind of want to get as much value from them as possible. Uh, yeah, so a Zenit would have been sensible. A Wake, definitely. I won't rip into you too much about missing out on that, but there we go. Wake is like pretty busted card. Um, Handweave was a hard one for me to put into one of these kind of slots. I put it in as an engine piece, because I don't think it's quite econ unless you're against a very certain deck. Reprise was another fun one. I think I had to put that in as a tech card, because it's not a win con as I see it, and it's like, and it's a card which you can only use in very certain situations. Very powerful in those situations, but yeah, tricky to use. Forged also is obviously a tech card hit. um, I mean, questionable, but he won the tournament, so you know. Um, I mean, I'd have just played both. I'd have played Wake over Panweave myself, but okay. Reprise has got me 2 points in 100 games, and those 2 points were in the final. Okay, so like the question is, would you have won the final without those 2 points? Like, were they the winning 2 points? But yeah, um, this is a fun one because like this is like kind of cut down, but um, definitely could be adjusted. I need to cough really bad. Sorry. Oh, for anyone just tuning in, I still have my cold from last week. I'm like so not better. Okay. All right. So Source was maybe in front anyway. So we could possibly cut this reprise. I think from what Source is saying, maybe put in a wake that takes out a tech piece, puts in a wing con. Um, the forged, you could probably, I'm sure You could probably cut and forged as well, but either way. We have Fermented Padma, which is what I was trying to play at the start of this stream. This this looks like my kind of deck, which is why I was kind of gonna do this. I always like this is by Encoder, came third. Um, and a really nice thing actually about the Metropole Grid startup tournament is that positions 1, 2, and 3 was a criminal, an anarch, and a shaper, which is like really interesting to then kind of look into what they've got. So uh, Encoder here is on 25 econ cards. Again, 6 draw. It's kind of our classic plus and tutors. We've only got 2 tech cards here, which are our 2 pinhole threadings plus our 2 no free lunches, which also count as econ because we don't have to just use them for that. 8 breakers, 3 of them being endurance, which kind of count for double. 1 engine piece, which is our turbine, which is just a nutty engine piece. And then we've still got room for 3 win cons in here, actually. Double deep dive and a conduit. So this like looks like a really nicely balanced list to me. And then we also have the advantage that some of our, not all econ is built the same. I think that Fermenter is probably one of the best econ cards in startup. I rarely pop these for less than sort of 8 or 10 credits, and yeah, that has to tick up over a few turns, but that's a lot of money for a 1 credit investment. With the only thing being that you probably don't want to face check into like Wayland Ice after it. And then we start getting into the Anarchs, and the Anarchs are firstly a lot harder to like. I don't know if comprehend is the right word, but a lot harder to break down into these categories because they have a lot of cards which don't just fit the like we're playing money and draw. And they kind of seem to fall very far behind in terms of like how many econ cards they're playing and things like that, but they make up for that with disruption and with other kind of options that they have. So there's the King's Loot deck, which isn't on Netrunner DB, but I do have it here. Maybe I can just copy that into the Word document and then we can have a little look. It's going to be a little bit harder to pass. Oh dear. No, not like that. Let's go for these. 4 dead draws. What were the dead draws in? Oh, in the King's Loot? Yeah. I think he's on. So I mean, these are dead draws, but assuming that you haven't like lost a breaker or something like that. So I was just like jotting these down as I went through because I think it's an interesting thing if you're gonna break down your own deck. Like this is a pretty good way of like looking at it and thinking, okay, have I got like too many win cons in here? Have I got too many breakers? Have I got too many dead draws? Because a dead draw, I would count like, for instance, here's the King's list right here. So obviously we're playing 2 of each breakers because Anarch problems. That second one is a dead draw. Unless you lose a Buzzsaw or you lose a Cleaver or you lose a Mimic, then you draw that card. It's no good to you. I've counted the second Endurance as a dead draw. Obviously, that's like here or there as to what it is. So here we've got a lot less econ cards. And this is kind of the thing for most of Anarch. And I think the only way that they can get away with this at the moment is that they have quite high quality econ cards. Like I said, Fermenter, like you can put free Fermenter into pretty much any Anarch deck. That's pretty good. Liberated account, that's a lot of money on 1 card. And plus you're getting some additional value off the ID with loop. Now, loop's a tricky one because I had to call the imps engine pieces because I didn't know what else to call them. Um, Botulus is never counted as a dead card because you can install more than one of them. Um, Again, like this is all based on like various assumptions and the fact that if that you're playing the cards properly, or that you have even the opportunity to play the cards properly. But if there's three pieces of ice on the board and you draw three Botuluses, assuming that none of them uh, are a magnet, then you can play all three of those Botuluses and you're getting value from them. Whereas if you draw three Buzzsaws, only one of those Buzzsaws is any good to you. You know. Um, so I put the imps in as engine pieces here, but they're actually like maybe they should be wing cons. So that's why I kind of put it here. I wasn't like it's very hard to judge what an imp in a list in an anarch list, particularly a loop list, would do to here. This is also where like the whole thing gets a bit wacky because we've got cards like Raindrops Cut Stone, which is not quite an econ card because it only gives us 2 credits. It's not quite a draw card because it probably only draws us 1 card, especially as we're not on Bankar here. So I called it 0.5 of an econ and 0.5 of a draw. Kind of the same when we get down to Wildcat Strike. I just didn't have a good way of it's not an econ card and it's not a draw card, so I gave it 0.5 of each because probably most of the time you're going to get the money, but some of the time you might get the draw, and there was no way of really kind of coming up with that. So I just went with the easy option. But here, yeah, we got a lot less econ. We've got more ways to get through ice, and those ways are very very efficient. Botulus plus endurance, we're very rarely paying for any ice, which is pretty good. Our tech cards here are the free steel, the free pinholes, and then like I said, the engine cards. So we've got leech and we've got imp, and imp could go either way. But interestingly, these decks do well because of their nature of disrupting the board. And that's what we get to, especially when we get down to the Essa decks. I'll come back to this one in a second because this is where it gets like this is a good example. So I've got 2 examples of Essa here. One is a deck which I got off Cable Carnage a little while back, and he has nicely said that I can put it on here. I think Asgar was very big in making it as well, and potentially some other people, but he can't remember exactly who it was. It was like months back that he made this deck. And then we also have an Essa, which was literally called Essa Second at Brussels, which kind of suggests exactly where it came. Here we go. And this is where trying to work out what your deck should be doing just goes out the window. Because here we're way shorter on econ, but both these like I don't think Cable's taken this to his version to a tournament, he said, but he had a fairly ludicrous win count with it on JNet, and having played it and played against it, it felt really strong. And I think that this deck, although it kind of is pretty different, which we'll look at first, they both go through similar things. And the big thing that we have here is a huge amount more win cons, right? These are decks which, unsurprisingly, are on Chushka, they're on Finality, they're on Time Bomb. And compared to our other decks where we're playing like maybe 1 or 2 win cons, these are a whole load of win cons. And maybe they're like slightly less powerful win cons because of cards like Spin Doctor and stuff like that. But just the quantity which these decks are playing is kind of almost insane. But this is how they work. And the only way that you can make a deck like this work is to play it really, really aggressively, because you want to get as many of those win cons off as fast as you can, because you're not playing much econ. You're not playing many breakers or good ways of getting through ice necessarily. So you need to just slam these win cons very, very quickly, and then hopefully win by turn 7, 8, or 9 when you've milled out about 22 cards. And so I think this is like a very, very different style to everything else that we've looked at above, and why they can run on much less econ. Like a lot of these decks run very, very light on econ. Cables was literally on 15 econ cards, and I think I have to pull it up here, because are we going to be able to see this? You can kind of just about see this, right? Like, I might need to move my face a bit. Uh, it might be a bit hard to read these ones on the side, but this was Cable Carnage's list. But you can see that like there's not a lot of big econ in here. It has just enough to get through and land the stuff that it wants to do. And it kind of reminds me of my Tag Me Freedom list, when I kind of pulled that apart and had a look at that and thought, wow, this is kind of nuts. I had like I think 8 or 9, depending on the version, multi-access cards, and it's like that's kind of a crazy amount of multi-access. Cable Carnage even cut the fermenters from his latest iteration, so like fermented, like he hasn't even got fermenters. And yeah, it's kind of a crazy amount, and it made sense in Tag Me Freedom because I was playing Obolus, and so it's all draw as well as WinCon, so it's kind of got a double standard. But yeah, this is where it gets a bit more interesting, and this is particularly why, if you have a look at the Essa decks which are out there, so here's 2 of them. I did look at a couple of others, but there weren't any which I had a definite like second or first place or something like that. They are all very different. The Essa has not been solved yet in any meaningful fashion. If you look at the Padma decks that have won stuff, they are very, very similar. There might be some changes here and there. So, like, we can look at this is Nuclear Submarine by Desserts, and I think this is 80% the same as Encoders here. Like, you can kind of see it. Like, obviously, the Breaker Suite has changed slightly. The influence has changed slightly. But a lot of the cards are very similar. But the Essa decks are like wildly different. September and are asking, do we have to play Mechanocytes? Mechanocytes was an interesting one, because I remember when Cable first sent this list over to me, it had 2 Mechanocytes into it, and I asked, do we need the 2? Like, I'd rather drop it to just 1, and dropped it to 1, and it was kind of fine. I've actually, when I've been playing my version of this, I've often not played the Mechanocytes. I think, yeah, you just kind of want to go faster. And there's an interesting thing about playing Essa, because obviously, like, you've got the Fule matchup, which I genuinely think is a 50-50 flip. And I'll be interested to hear what other people kind of think about that. But it often goes very much one way, but you can normally tell by about turn 5 which way is going to go, and then it's 100% like You've either lost it or whatever. Regenesis Jinteki. Yeah, Regenesis Jinteki, because Regenesis Jinteki is also inevitably on the grid, Navasivic grid, and that is a tricky one for Essa, especially as you're like smashing out a load of your cards anyway. Yeah, Cable's most scared of Nanny Grid, and I can see why. If they put a Nanocivic grid on archives, you're you're probably not going to win off scoring agendas. So you just have to hope that you can sabotage every single last agenda that they have. Like that might be a way. I mean, it's why like you probably have to be on pinhole threading if you want to get around that. But it's really hard to hold a pinhole threading in your deck when you're playing as Essa. Right, so maybe we'll look at this another time. Essentially, what I wanted to kind of look through here, and maybe I will correlate this into some form of spreadsheet for next week, is just this kind of breakdown of about how many how many econ cards you should have, how many draw cards, and some of that will come down to what style of deck you're playing. Are you playing a super aggressive deck which has got lots and lots of sort of disruption to it? If so, then you can probably get by on a little bit less. Are you playing one which is just trying to score like steal agendas? Oh, Faceless. Running Hot. Yeah, Running Hot. I actually had to give its own category because I got to it and I did not know what to put it. So I actually made its own little category of click game. Um, because I don't think you can. I think it's too strong. Like you can't just count it as draw um or econ. Forgot what my trail was, but Axie's asking what are we playing today. That is a great question. So I came up with all of this. So we can either try and build a deck. Yasengrin's going with econ for running. We could either try and build a deck, or we can play some top tier startup runner decks. But maybe we like the problem is if we build a deck, if we build a try hard deck, it's probably going to look very similar to something that's already here. So I think we might just look at playing some of these decks, but hopefully this time I'll actually choose the right options, like not try and play someone in standard with my technically illegal startup deck. Right, let me try and get this screen back to where it was, completely on the fly without any issues going wrong at all. So this window can go, this window can go like that. Ooh, there we are. That felt almost seamless, yeah. Um, I mean, it's interesting you say running hot econ. You're saying because like in my head it's draw more than it is econ, but I don't know. Um, yeah, and then okay, so sorry, yeah. Cable's just brought it. Uh, Cable's brought up a really really good point, which I actually kind of wanted to cover, which is that S's ID does more than any other ID that is out here, and you can look at this by tracking like what your ID does in terms of on here. So here, our ID counts towards our win con, and we might get 7 to 8 um, like 7 to 8 triggers of that. Maybe if we're like maybe not 7 to 8, but 5 to 6. Let's go with 5 to 6. So that's like if we're playing a really good ESSA game, then we hit 5 to 6 core damage, and that adds to our 8 win cons, and sabotages more. So it's doing a lot there. Plus, we're getting our draw from it. Obviously, we're losing a card to core damage, but that's fine. Whereas the loot deck that the king played, this is getting quite a lot from its ID. It's getting both econ and draw, which is really, really good. But it is a little bit conditional, because obviously we need trash stuff, preferably with an imp. And then the Padma decks, they charge their boat. So that's where they get their kind of power from. But whether that's doing as much as say an Essa deck is, or something like that, I'd say no. It's not really helping towards your win con. It is helping you play the game, and it's making it incredibly miserable for everyone else most of the time. And I might have forgotten to like include IDs that much up here. Technically, I need a click gain option here, because this is Sable, so that would be hers. Kolana, my latest inspiration for deck building has been seeing other people running CityWorks project behind an advanced archette. That's I love that one. That's a good one. Not sure what idea it would go best from, but there's a few options. Yeah, I think built to last is what I'd be doing if I was doing this. I want to play a little bit of startup, at least to start with. I'm going to try and play the deck which I was meant to play when I started the stream. That is not it. Streaming TV. Bar Ram Woo. Oh, in other news, here's fun news. I have just ordered a new microphone, or a microphone, because I've only been using my like laptop one. I've decided that that I've now streamed for long enough that I feel like I'm going to continue doing it, and so there we go. You should have silky smooth vocals by next week, assuming I have my voice back. Do we keep this hand? It's got a fermenter in it. It's got some permanent econ, although I don't want to play lots of my events. It's got an Earthrise. I'm going to keep it. We're playing against PE. What we might do as well next week is maybe look at the corpse, because obviously I haven't had time to go through all the corpse again as well. But as I was kind of looking at the runners which had been winning, I was obviously glancing at the corpse. And there is a very there's a definite kind of trend, and it's somewhat unsurprising. I think we can zoom in maybe one more. That's probably too many. Okay, are we checking any of these? I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to put down my fermenter because I want to keep it. Do I need my breakers? Not really. Do I need conduit? Not really. It's just whether I want to play this prepaid or not. Nope. I'm going to use it as a hit point. Okay. 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 Right, so my suspicion here, we took a deck to UK Nats for President of Servers. Is that the right one? Which is the one at UK Nats. And we were all playing. We were all playing Drago in our decks because we had Aaron, the creator of Drago, in our group. And I built a PE deck which was running Drago and Mitosis and the agenda orbital superiority. So I'm expecting Mitosis into either end of a line and possibly orbital superiorities as well. We'll see. We'll see how accurate that is. Whatever happens, I probably can't float a tag, which is really important. We see a Perphonymous, that's fine. We go back. We can go back. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll just take 2. I mean, this is the kind of problem with Jinteki right now is that it's quite hard to use mitosis unless you're using Checkers Cyan as well, because otherwise you just don't have enough kind of advanceable traps for it. But then you like, well, what are you doing with the Checkers Cyan? So probably an end of the line type deal. Could play this echelon. It's going to come in at 1 strength. I need it to be at 2 strength to deal with anything that annoying. No, I'm going to play it just in case of like tithes. And then if I get one more breaker down, okay, so we do see a mitosis. So, I didn't want to mitosis out this turn. So what's this? They don't have 2 things in their hand to mitosis. So they don't have many traps in their hand. Okay, that makes sense. We'll take credit. Yeah. I kind of think that one of these might be a spin doctor. Interesting. Okay. Keeling, also an option. Oh, this is a clunky hand. I could, I guess. So I can put the turbine down to get the echelon to 2 strength. I put the cleaver down. That is the least likely that they're going to have barriers. But then at least I'm at 2 strength and I can deal with whatchamacallits. Anemones. I think I just want to check HQ a few more times. I'm probably going to hit a snare. Okay, so they are on orbital superiority. Absolutely called this one. I think I can go once more. I see mitosis again, and I'll just take 2 credits in. Hey, Anarcho. Yes, startup today. We've done some kind of. I've done. I done. Terrible language. I did some delving into. Oh. What kind of a makeup of cards? Okay, there we go. Did they maybe? Actually, I'll show you what we took uh to UK Nats because there's orbital superiority is an underplayed card. I can tell you that. I can run archives. The only punish here is what do we call it? Not a Cyberdex virus suite. Um, the other one. Okay, so now this gets like really scary because they can potentially do 5 damage. So a Drago into an orbital or just orbital into orbital, but they'd need something to actually do that. Kind of feel like this in server 2 might be a pop for 2 damage type malarkey, which is a bit scary. I only need 2 more points, which is good. Do we check server 2? And if we do we use a card to do it? The problem is I want the money to trash. Okay, so we'll just pop this first. We'll go server 2. Feel like this is going to be an anemone. No res. Just a bait into a snare? Bait into an Urtic Cipher. Well, don't I feel silly? And then we'll draw 2. Okay, this no free lunch is actually like super vital, but I didn't want to end on 4 cards, free cards by playing it. So that's slamming straight down next turn because I am scared about. Well, they're definitely doing something with tags. Okay, that's a shame, but does happen. So I'm just going to set up a little bit. We're going to get this down. I think I just click for a credit here. I don't really need money. Yeah, actually, after this game, I'll pull up what we were playing at UK Nats and what you could now play because it did have Drago in it, which is obviously illegal, so you have to adjust it, but it can be adjusted still. And Orbital in Jinteki is actually like, yeah, in PE can be pretty gross. If you haven't seen it yet as well, I did a video 2 weeks ago when I was away, which was using Orbital in a deck called Sophie's Choice. Right, so this is threatening now, like Orbital into death. Run HQ, I've seen 0 snares so far, which is scary. Let's run R&D. We'll like get our first Padma ability. Okay. That, I think I'm going to break it with a boat, which feels mental, but no, it can't be right. Can't be right. I'll just break it with credit. Yeah. Just feel like I'm probably not gonna live long enough to this to be a thing. This is like really scary. This could also be like clearinghouse. Okay, if what's the chances I can make 3 runs next turn without losing this deep dive? Because if I can, then I think I can win, unless I lose now. I might lose now. This could be Drago with double. This could be Orbital. Oh no! Yeah. I think 0 in 100 is pretty good odds. Okay, so there's a slight chance that if I can, the pop-up's going to give them a credit. That's actually a shame. One of those does seem like a clearinghouse. Okay, we're not gonna lose this deep dive. It's not gonna happen. Okay, it didn't happen there. I'm actually gonna bait through this because this is not yeah, I'm surprised but and not surprised by the pop-ups. Oh, if they don't, they're not gonna hit us. Oh. Okay, we see a moon pool. We'll trash the moon pool. Did forget the moon pool was a card, so that is Also terrifying. We're gonna run archives. We're not gonna lose it. 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 Oh yes. Um. Now, assuming this whiffs, we lose anyway because whatever is going on here, we are dead. We are dead. We scored one. So we did see the end of the line. Um, I guess we steal House of Knives. I think I might be dead. A captain always goes down with her ship. Yeah, I mean accessing the snare as like that's tempting, isn't it? No way. There's no chance we live here. Oh my word. Well, well. Who expected that? I mean, these must be traps. So we know that neither of them are clearinghouse. We know that there's not. We know that these aren't agendas and that's not an agenda because we would die. So, so are they just all traps? They can't be clearinghouse. They. We've seen one checkist. We've seen one. Yeah, this isn't a Reaper function either. So I think this is a spin doctor. I'm just gonna draw. Yeah, Imp for clearinghouse is probably they might be able to have one. I think, depending on what they're on, I think my most recent deck, which looked a little bit like this, I had space for one. Wait, what did you do? You did this. I mean, are we going to fall for this again? This is a snare, right? 100%. I kind of want to put the Earthrise down. I might put the Earthrise down, run R&D. Conduit. Uh, Seems risky. I also don't want to give them the money from running through pop-up window. Like, I only need a one pointer. Conduit might get us there faster. I'm going to put this down and run R&D. I am actually going to boat through the pop-up window. Yes, it did happen. We see an end of a line. We have one no free lunch. We can draw. Ooh. Play second no free lunch. Or do we value 5 cards in hand more? They have one end of a line. So this could be Drago. One of these could be Drago. Yeah, but I was kind of expecting the Drago is 4 influence. 5 cards. I think I agree. Because they didn't have the kill last time, so I don't think they have the kill yet. Unless yeah. They'd need to have some real specific. Okay. There is more advancing going on. Yeah, I have no idea. But I mean, I'm not going anywhere near any of these. I feel like there's like some ridiculous combo which is going to come off, and I actually almost don't want to win before it happens because I want to see it. Okay, we can deep dive, right? Chances of losing deep dive here are actually pretty low. Let's go HQ first. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go. Do we want a dirty laundry here? Just in case we fail? No. No. We'll boat through a pop-up window for the second time in the game. I should have done it the first time as well. Like we're going to have more boat counters than ice. We see a mitosis. We hit archives. Here we go. There's got to be one here. There is non-agenda. Cool. Cool. Okay. Power access for snare? Probably not this time. I can't trash these, which is a shame. I can't trash that. Oh, you see, I should have day laundry. I can trash that. That's worth trashing. Now I have to discard a card, which is bad. I think it's the pinhole, right? The only reason to actually keep the pinhole would have been to deep dive with it, like so I had a safe run on HQ. I mean, all agendas are on board. I would assume that was the case if we didn't know for a fact that like these two can't be agendas, or we would be dead. This one can't be an agenda unless it's like a send a message or a blood in the water. Okay, could be a blood in the water. These could be blood in the waters. They could just be gonna win. Yeah, I think we might just have to do a classic fill here and touch some agendas off R&D. But to do that, then I think it is conduit time, which means popping fermenter, conduit, run. It's probably fine. Okay, we'll do this. We'll whack this down. We could dirty laundry. Get punished if we run into exactly a snare. We're going to charge up our endurance so we can keep on boating through this pop-up window like absolute champs. 8 credits that cost me. Ah, there we go. Yay. The curiosity of what is on board is insane. Oh, they're going to show us. Okay. Okay, so we had a snare, which was put out with mitosis, a moon pool. So this was an agenda, an orbital. Oh, and there's the checklist. Yeah. Minute I saw the first checklist, I assumed orbitals in the deck. I mean, this is interesting because this looks terrifying, and I don't think I'm ever going to run it. So, like, to put a trap in there is like maybe a bit risky. Um, possibly. This is a great card. 100%. Oh, Um, yeah, I haven't actually seen. I didn't see any Trick of Lights though, Diogene. But I assume they were. Also, fun fact: I found out who Diogene is, as in not this Diogene, not the one that's famous to us, but I assume you took your name from. There's a philosopher called Diogene who I was not familiar with, um, but is like the most punk of all philosophers from something which I was reading, which is pretty cool. Um, I hope that's where you took your name from. Otherwise, yeah, who knows? Right. So, Axu. I think it was Axu. No, it was. It was someone else. I can't remember. But um, I'm going to find the barrel guy. Okay, maybe yes. Um, maybe uh, Diogene can probably tell you more. But I just like I saw his name in a thing which came up earlier, and I was like, ah. But I didn't have time to fully read it, so I didn't quite comprehend everything. So what I'm looking for is here we go. So this is what we took to, or one member of our team took to President of Servers, which was like a really fun deck and can absolutely. Oh yeah. Okay, face cam. Thanks for the call out. Let's go here. Bosh. Um. So this is what we took to uh Prison of Servers as one of our decks. It's pretty fun. It can get some really surprising kills. Obviously, like if they run into a cerebral, that's great for you. But the real power play here is like orbital with Dragos, and then you're mitosising them on the board. Cerebral, yeah. This is not. This wasn't startup. Sorry, this was in standard. We've got like Otoroshi's and things in here. But we can make a version of this for startup. And maybe we could do that now. We were going to play runner, but let's so if we make a copy of this, and we go startup and we take out all the things that we can't play. Can't play Obos, can't play Kusanagis, can't play Otoroshis, which is a shame. We can't play Rashidas and we can't play NGO fronts. Uh, Why is it allowing us to play Cerebrals? Cerebral is not a startup card anymore. Well, we'll just take that out. It has rotated, hasn't it? Yes, it absolutely has. But we can now play some number of. Oh yeah. Is it? Is it like boom? I think the rest of this is here. I think Ronan's still here, but I think we're probably going to have to end up taking that out. Hogseye still in. Mitosis is still in. Hedge Fund, Anemone. Okay, so I think the rest of this is all still good. Um, so Shell Game PE is struggling, but it doesn't necessarily have to, because what we can put is we can put in some Checkers Scions. I think we can only afford two. And then we remove one Drago and we play one end of the line. Boom. So this seems like ideally we'd play some number of gaslights as well, but we obviously can't do that because we don't have enough influence. Um, Unless we played like we could go down the more let's really hope they run our traps type thing. Archived would be sick, but again, no influence left. And I want to keep one Drago because essentially you need something which, if they just don't run any of your advanced cards, Drago is the punish because it really, really gets them. So then what agendas are there right now? There's Regenesis, which is probably fine. Haven't considered this deck since Nana Civic came in, so it's whether that's. I don't think we're going to play enough ice for Nana Civic. We're definitely playing Blood in the Waters. Sometimes we can just score them straight out, and then we only need 2 more points. Longevity is still legal, right? So something like that. Um, hybrid release. Hybrid release is probably better than Regenesis, right? With the exception of the fact that we're on Moonpool. False lead is definitely better than Regenesis, but has rotated. So I'll immediately stop that. Wait, isn't it in? No, yeah, it was in. They like redid it in Ashes, didn't they? I think. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but I think hybrid release is probably better here. Now I haven't considered this since new cards came out. So like, are we on Keeling? Should we be on Keeling? Maybe. Like we could maybe play 2 Keelings. That potentially gets us a kill off a single tag into orbital superiority because they'd be on less cards than 5. We're definitely playing 3 Urtica ciphers. We could be on more Ronin. Oh, money is the big issue because we've lost NGO front, which like absolutely held up um, the other deck. So we're gonna have to play. Uh, so I'm not totally sure Keeling does need protection because we're not gonna res it unless it's the kill. Like all we're the only time we're gonna res it. So the only like obviously they run it on the board, they see it, fine, whatever. But yeah, Bladder Warp. I think they trash Bladder Warp, but then they probably trash any of our econ options. So we're only going to res it at the end of their turn to bring them down to like 4 cards, so that we can get a 5 card. Like we can do 5 meat damage by scoring an orbital superiority, assuming they have a tag, which we hopefully have ways of giving them a tag, or have given them a tag. So econ wise, we do need some more ice, which is probably just going to be 3 Tives, because that's fine. Reaper function might do the same thing. Probably does do the same thing. Is it better? Might be better. I like the fact that Keeling's 4 to trash, which is like quite expensive. Yeah, exactly. Drago plus Orbital, or like if they run a Checkers Scion and they don't have time to clear all the tags. So we either play Reaper, which is 1 cheaper for us, 2 cheaper for them. Oh, a maze would be like dirty, but yeah, like the influence is just a bit too high on it. If a maze was 2 influence, I think that card would actually see like be very splashable. At 3 influence, it's tricky. Like at 2 influence, it would be a really good card in Thule. I wonder if we might just play 1 Keeling then. I'm going to play 1 Keeling, 1 Reaper. We still need more money, so we either play Bladder Warts. Yeah, Source. Look, it wasn't my fault, all right? I just brought up a list and then suggested that maybe it would work in startup and whatever. We need more money than this thing. We're like incredibly poor, so we could play Bladder Wart, which I think immediately gets taken down. We could play click it lots of times for lots of money, which is probably our best option. Someone hit me with a name. Uh, Neurospike would be a really good card to include, but slots, regolith. Yeah, thank you. Slots are going to be tight. So we could play Neurospike instead of Ronin. Potentially. Ronin's probably too expensive. Like, I don't think. Do 3 net damage. Yeah, I think Ronin's like I think just Reaper function. Oh, I've put 3 of these in the deck. I don't think I actually want 3. Not yet anyway. Reaper function is like just straight up better than Ronin. Um So I'd also like to get free copies of the only other econ card that Jinteki has, or do we just click for a whole bunch of credits? Uh, Maybe this is just fine. Let's see what happens when we play this. This is startup. This is PE. Let's go. No, there's not a lot of good ice, and we basically didn't play any ice in the standard version of this, and I'm not planning on really playing any ice in this version because um, it kind of doesn't need it. That is not what I wanted to copy. Um, no, yeah, but I just don't think Nano Civic Grid is going to be worth it in a deck where we're probably only running 6 ice. Um, twitch.tv/bar ram. Right, let's actually set this up right. Corp, startup, go. Bad Ice is a faction staple. Uh, I would say that Bad Ice is the faction staple for Jinteki, right? Like Jinteki. Well, I mean, they used to have Engram Flush, um, but there was a time where the Jinteki Ice Suite was like pretty mean, and then Engram Flush and Slot Machine both got banned, and it just went to absolute nothing. Okay, we're against Essa. We're not playing Nano Civic Grid. We do have a Spin Doctor in our opening hand, but nothing else. So I'm going to mulligan. This is fine. We can. Um, I think I probably mitosis out these two and stick Tive on HQ. Seems okay. We'll see how brave they're feeling. Yeah, at least I like traps. Are we letting Essa draw 4 cards? I don't think so. We'll just give him money. We've got Enga. Where are they running for the Enga? Is a big question. It's kind of fun. Like if they run archives, we can always feed them an agenda. Nuts! That's 100% the one I wanted to keep. No, let's see what we lose. Oh, we lost a Keating. That's a shame. Okay, now I think they will not run this because this looked like one trap, one agenda. So I'm just going to assume that they won't run it. We could score one of these out to pull a Keeling. I think I'm going to draw one and take 2 credits, and that'll be fine. Because I did realise that I went below snare money, which is bad times. Do I want to trash any of these? No. That's fine. Wow. I mean, that's recursion, which is actually, we can actually score one of these to get a spin doctor back. Now, at what point do we do that? Do we do it? They're not going to run archives yet, right? Yeah, hybrid seems amazing here. Oh, especially, ooh, playing a Bankar. I mean, that's gonna double up on our Tive damage. Um, do I want to get the spin doctor back, or do I want to get the Keeling back? They're like quite low on money. Let's just install. I don't have to res it, so I think I'd do the spin doctor. We do a P damage. We hit a finality, which is probably fine. Oh, I have to trash something, which is all right because I got Spin Doctor. I think I want to keep this. This is like my only ice, so I'll just trash from the top. I think next turn is like click, click, install an enemy, unless they run the Spin Doctor. Okay. Is the Tithe better on R&D because it actually does 2 damage when they try and if they decide to bank after it? I think it is. So I'm gonna put this on R&D and take 2 credits. So if we score a hybrid release next turn, what are we bringing back? Bankar HQ. Excellent. You're more than welcome to do 2 damage. Oh, that is true actually. Like ice positioning would have been a thing here, but I assume that they're just going to either put down breakers or not. And if they don't, then I might just not put anything else in. What did they lose? They lost an imp and a ghost tongue. I think we can. They're going to like sabotage a lot here. We want to lose any of these? I don't think so. There is a way. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we can bring these back. That's fine. And get the time bomb as well. So now they're really poor, and I'm tempted to bring. Oh, by flipping archives. That's a shame. Okay, our hybrids are slightly less good now. So let's grab that, and yeah, we're not going to try and do anything too tricky here. Okay, hedge fund mitosis, snare and hybrid seems right. Do I throw out the hybrid to next turn install it with the hybrid? 2 hybrids. 2 hybrids is interesting. Thing is, I think they run one of them. I'm like pretty sure they run one of them. We'll see if this is incorrect. Oh, this is just great. They just did extra damage to themselves if they happen to actually run this. Okay, they have a no free lunch, which is a shame. They're running here. Okay, this is where we should have kept the snare. If we had kept the snare, oh no, they have got a no free lunch. But like they'd have to immediately pop it if they actually hit it. They're going to get to draw. They've actually got a hand size of 7. They've only taken 1 net damage. Oh, this is perfect. I'm going to throw out the hybrid. Because it's perfectly safe. And now I can score this. We'll do a damage. We'll install the face down hybrid in a new remote. I think we trash an anemone to, and then we double lance this, score this, Jinteki, install this on, I think, just on archives. No, we probably go HQ because Chichishka. No, it's cards. It's not just assets. We've only seen one Chichishka so far, so I think I'm going to go HQ because Chichishka's scarier than finality. We'll take one from the top of. Do we throw out this hedge fund, or do we throw out the anemone? We might throw out the anemone. No, spin. That's a shame. And then we're just going to take money. I mean, Jinteki's got so much sneaky recursion nowadays. Like, I'm at the point where I think you can quite easily build a Jinteki deck which doesn't have 3 spin doctors in it. I don't really want to trash either of these, so I'm going to trash a Typh. That's fine. We don't care about our ice. We would like to find one last spin doctor. What have we got here? Yes, we are playing moon pools, 100%. Okay, so here we can. I mean, we could set up for the win if they didn't have a no free lunch in play. Let's draw twice. Okay, that's perfect for next turn. Do we want to ice anything else? Yeah, I mean, we actually might be able to do that next turn. Oh, what happened? A time bomb happened. I don't want to throw out any of these. 2 points. Okay. It's getting a bit sketchy. Yeah, next time we're going to mitosis down these two. Or we mitosis these two. They're hitting us with a finality. So I think we drop. I want to keep all the rest. Oh, Moonpool's actually really good as well, isn't it? It's not a Drago, it's a Chekist. If it was a Drago, I'd 100% be that. Uh, there is a way that we can give them a tag with one orbital and kill with the other, and it's one of the best ways of doing it. But clicks are a bit of an issue, and oh, they got rid of their. Oh my word, they got rid of no free lunch. Wait, do we res here? Yeah, because they're going to take 1 damage. They're going to take a damage for 1 credit, which I think is worth it. Yeah, snare on top of the deck. Hit a botulus. There's still 2 snares. Is there still 2 snares? Oh, I think they might be dead. I mean, they might win. Quilana, you. Oh my word! I can't believe they had another one. Wait, what happened with an free lunch? Oh, they removed the tag. That is a shame. I didn't even have a click left to do this, but there we go. Um, wow, interesting. Okay, we nearly absolutely had the win there. So, I think we mitosis out these two. It's getting a little sketchy now. We have to go for a win because if they run archives, we're like, I guess like so. If I put a moon pool out, then I'm all right. I could use the moon pool now just to score this. It's not gonna. But it will get me to 5 points. Maybe that's just fine. Like moon pool, trash this from hand. This works, right? Um, yeah. So I think just to stop us losing, we go like new remote, res, trash that, done, reveal two face down, so that's this one and this one, done. Choose an install card to put two things on, done. We're gonna score. We'll do a PE, we'll give them a tag. We will risk it for a biscuit. That's fine. And we'll gain 2 credits so that we can hit them with a snare if they do run it. This is not like the I'm gonna win play, but I think we lose next turn play if we don't play that. Uh-oh, I've lost chat. Sorry, chat. If wow, I'm like way behind. Uh right, I need to catch up. Let me see what's going on here. And then let me try and get my chatbot thing back. Oh, it doesn't have any. Oh, I'm gonna have to like look back. Okay, right. Um, draw and take 2 credits. I think it's probably fine. Think. I mean, the question is whether to mitosis these both down. Let me see if I can see where we got. Right. I think I sort of that, sort of that. Mitosis checkist and blood, then play out moonpool normal. Boring. Yeah. Boring, but I didn't lose the next turn, and I think I would have lost the next turn. 2 cards. Do I throw out a mitosis at this point? It's like getting sketchy. They're gonna run archives because they only need to get 1 point, so I don't think we can risk. How many 1 pointers are actually left? How many agendas are left? One orbital. It's one orbital, one blood in the water. This is in R&D that I'm thinking, and one house of knives, right? So 3 and 13. I will trash one. Oh, we lost our last spin. Shachishka. So this anemone will do 3 damage. And then if they want to continue going, this will do 4. This will do a 4th damage. They then have to draw. They have enough clicks to draw one, and they only need to access one for the win. But I think we do res it. It's just what we chuck out, which probably has to be a checkist. I think our dreams of checkist are gone. Okay, we're gonna get a credit here, which is actually like vital. We could trash for mitosis from hand. I don't think they can get back into HQ, so I think it's safe to do that. Kind of got away with this one. Not totally sure how we win, but we did get away with it. I think IA is a bit risky here because I reckon it's really obvious that all we have in hand are agendas. That's perfect, though. No, this isn't an agenda. This is the snare. That's why you're all getting excited. That we scored off the orbital. Oh, blood! Oh, yeah. All right, all right, all right, people. I think we're all right. I think we're okay. Someone remind me how like agendas work. Yeah. Yes, yes, I know I had to win. All right. Look, it's not been the most. They just die here, right? If they hit an agenda, they die. Okay, they're undoing click. Yeah. Oh, we might lose here. Yeah, they would win first. You're right. But they probably, yeah, GG. I apparently had the win last turn. Blood in water in hand. Didn't notice. Okay. Uh, we're what's the time? I can play one more game. That was actually pretty close. Like, um, we're not playing more PE, are we? Are we? We doing one more? Or we go back to trying to play the Padma deck, which has not worked out very well for me so far. Um, yeah, damn right. Phil, where was your flipping advice when I need it? Um, I'm gonna do one last game with Cody's deck, and Cody's Pagma because that was like, uh, look, have you got enough falafels for everyone? Because if you don't have enough for the whole class, uh, you can't have them. That's the rules. Everyone knows the rules. Um, yeah. So shell game PE, it's still kind of a thing. That was like nearly a thing, and we actually survived like pretty well considering. I mean, we got our hybrid releases at a very good time, but Jinteki is very well placed against sabotage, which is kind of interesting because obviously it mainly comes from Essa, who kind of wants to hurt herself. But Jinteki has access to hybrid release, longevity serum, moon pool, um, uh, simulation reset. That's a lot of like potential recursion. And if TF-54's playing, if we were playing standard, I would get whooped by them right now. If got my point. It's getting a bit late. But there's a lot of recursion here, like kind of hidden. Here's a really fun thing, which oh, hello sauce. Let's go. Come on. Uh oh, this is fine. Right. I don't know what I want to see when I'm playing up against startup anymore in terms of a corp. Every corp comes on and I'm like, oh no, not this one. Um, because they're all a bit degenerate right now, right? Do we keep the turn one endurance? No, we're gonna get. Oh, that's a worse hand by a fair margin. No, maybe it's not worse. I mean, we could play this like, yeah, and like without rigging up, this would be like awful. I mean, the high temptation here is to rigging up into the depths R&D. I think I'm gonna play slightly safer. Kalana says PE is so weird. No other ID would let you get away so frequently with just install advance in a naked agenda onto the field. Exactly. Do we think this is Drago? Probably. Oh, this is ideal. Hmm, yes. We need to gain a credit. We'll run R&D. We'll probably lose to ping. Um, or we lose to this. Oh, this is a problem. Okay, sorry, I'll come back to my thought here. Uh, interesting. Well, so we can take the tag and remove the tag. I don't mind too much losing these. Single Drago into end of the line, and it's all over. I guess that's the more. I guess we should take the tag. No, I don't want to give him the money for taking the tag. Um, let's break the tag. Take the net damage. We'll die to a snare. Probably gonna die to a snare. Oh, and they do still get to draw. Hopefully they just drew a snare uh, off the top of their deck. Yeah. Um, I mean, we're gonna gain four. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that means this is slightly less chance of being a Drago. We have to trash this. And then we can gain one credit and hopefully not die. Okay, we haven't instantly died, so that's good. Um, yeah, so PE is a weird one. Okay, money, money, me. Um, but I think James has got a pretty good point here. Like you need some differential on the decks and what they're doing. Yeah. Because without that kind of difference, if they're all just trying to sort of play ice and things like that, and P goes horizontal in an unusual way, like most kind of asset spam decks or horizontal decks, spamming out a load of assets, usually rezzed. We run third click. Let's run second click. Whereas P tends to hide them all. We have a tag that is fine as long as we don't hit a snare here exactly. Public trail, expected. So we can do this. We can remove a tag. I'm gonna get hit with at least one public trail here. Yeah, and I guess it's just like I feel like the game of Netrunner. Uh-huh. Is best when there's a nice balance between all the different types of decks which are on the go at any one time. Let's draw, let's draw. Let's Well, I don't want to enter depths here last click, so we're just gonna do I go HQ for the extra two? No. Oh, right. My hottest take is that it is very good for the game if you have to slot silver bullets that are dead in over 50% of matches. Completely dead or like not particularly useful. Because okay. Good thing we've got a bit more money in hand. This is quite good for us. Um, I'm not quite so sure. I think having to slot silver bullets doesn't feel totally great. What do we want to do here? Do we want a diesel gamble? I think we want a diesel first. I kind of want an echelon to get through this, but I'll need to put down another breaker as well, which is like awkward. I mean, I have exactly that and a rigging up to play them. So that's interesting. Or I put down the echelon and I guess for hyperbaric's better. But if we're gonna rigging up something, then we might as well rigging up the hyperbaric. Um, which like feels a bit weird, but we're gonna run here and hit a snare, and it'll be fine. We'll charge this. Oh, I was meant to into the depths. No, I'm gonna save the into the depths here. I think. Um, I'm gonna let them draw. I'm not totally sure I should, and they do. We see a ping. Good to know. And we'll gamble last click. Information sifting level of dead. Wow, that is a proper level of dead. As in, this card could win me the game if I play specifically one matchup. I mean, I guess I just don't particularly love those type of matchups because, or that idea um, because I like to play all the cards in my deck. Um, Light the Fire is an interesting one because that's like that's that's maybe more on key. Do we put down the echelon before we into the depths of this server? I feel like there's at least one. This might not be a ping actually because I think this is a ping. So what are we expecting? Toll booth. unsmiling, and maybe a whatchamacallu. Could take all money first. I don't think I need to. Running archives for a boat counter and 2 credits does seem decent. Double Funhouse would be would be a pain, but is doable. Double Funhouse is a pretty good shout, actually. We're gonna take a tag. Or Funhouse into ping. Funhouse into ping into the 3-2 is a problem. We just break this with endurance, right? Also, Funhouse into unsmiling. No, unsmiling is less of a problem. Less of a problem. We'll definitely break that. We'll definitely break that. We'll let you draw 2 cards if you want. I think you probably will. So we'll. Oh, it's a spin doctor. We probably pump the endurance here. I kind of want to charge for hyperbaric, but I think our endurance is a bit more valuable. The other thing to do would be to pull whatever our backup breaker is, which I think. I'm gonna. Not got much draw. No, I'm gonna charge in game. Actually, I can install because it's propeller. That's fine, and then we can draw one and remove a tag, and we'll be fine. Draw one, remove tag. We still have 8. I guess double public trail. Well, double public trail, and then what? They retribution our boat. That should be more sad if they retribution our fermenter. Here we are. So one of the things I was saying earlier is that fermenter is probably the best econ card in the game. This is interesting. What's going on here? Is this the older Maze Amusements? Scary if it is. Okay, Deep Dive is good. Mark is on R&D, which makes it very tempting to run there. It's just snare, isn't it? So if we hit a snare after going through what I'm pretty sure is a ping, then we're in bad time bears. Now the question is, do they purge our fermenter next turn? Or do they score out or do something? I think I take the money just in case. Kind of feel like they're about to Drago us. Let's see. We know they're on public trail. There's like, I was going to say there's a tiny chance that this here is like a Reaper function, but I don't necessarily believe that. Please score this out. Don't leave a triple advance thing in the server because that's terrifying. What are you thinking, Source? Okay. Is this more scary? This is just a Drago. What's going on? What's happening? Oh, they've got a seamless. Oh, okay. So I think this is definitely like 100% a. I mean, this is an amaze. How many? Because that kind of thing. So it's like definitely an amaze, and it's 90% an agenda that's gone on top of it. Because that would be the reason for doing it first. So we've got two pinholes, two no free lunches. I don't have we found any of these yet? No. And we also don't have any draw. No chances Managarm. If it's Managarm, then I'm absolutely fine with it. But I think I'm more scared of it being a maze. Like that's I think the worst. I'm going to assume he's on three seamless launches, which is going to be like 6 influence. Managarm's 3 influence each. Conduit, yeah, we could just touch some agendas off R&D the old classic way, but I feel like if feel like this is probably like a 3-2, and we might lose if I don't go and sort it out. But if it's specifically tomorrow's headline, then I'll have so many tags by the time I get in. Also, really want to put the echelon down first, but I definitely can't do that. So I think I just have to end the depths in. Probably break this. I probably have to boost this. Ugh, gross. Boost, boost, break is better than, like, it cost me one more for this one, but yeah, we'll take a take. I'd have really, well, I'm going to have to use this to charge this, which I can do because I'll have made the run. Yeah, that's all right. I'm okay. Um, Feels really bad because if I put down this turbine, then uh, that is completely unnecessary. Um, I'm gonna have to let Source draw cards again, which I'm not that happy about. He's getting a lot of potential draw off this, which he seems just to want to score out fast, which makes sense. So I need to do endurance first, then I will gain 4, charge the endurance. No res. Interesting. Oh, obviously, it's a snare. Obviously. But it was protected. So I did call the Amaze Amusements. It did call the Amaze. Clear 2 tags. What did I lose? Did I lose the echelon? That is a problem. Could run archives for 2 credits. I don't think it's worth it. I think I just want to find. That's a good thing to find. I mean, this is like just when you really wish you had a hush. Right now, I think it might be time to go here, but I think I want to be a tiny bit more set up first. Oh, I also need a way of getting through on Smiling Serevna, like significantly. Let's draw twice. We'll run archives. Funhouse is definitely not fun. There's a funhouse in a bin, which is interesting, and a wraparound. Wraparound pretty bad once the propeller is down. Is this for Drago? It's okay if it is, right? This is where we find like sources on something really spicy, and this in server 2 it has been a corporate the card which really should see more play but doesn't. Corporate whatever Majig. Okay, it is a dragon. Do we draw once in the hope of finding a pinhole? No, not corporate troubleshooter. Corporate town. I feel like corporate town should see more play in startup. It sees none. Um, especially in decks which are planning to give tags. But it's probably better in like NEH. Maybe we'll build some corporate town next week. Do I run this first click, or do I draw once to find pinhole? If this gives me potentially 2 tags, I can still clear 2 tags. Let's draw once to find a pinhole. Did not find a pinhole. This is okay. Take another tag. I'd like to deal with this spin doctor as well, but there we go. It's going to be where we like run it to check it at some point. There's been a snare all along, which would be like a pretty reasonable play, I think, out of R plus. I think you can get away with that. I need to clear 2 tags, and I am safe from a single. I'm safe from a single public trail, and I have a second boat in hand, and I can't die. I'll pay 8. Hit me again. Interesting. Interesting. We've also like, did we lose our? When did we lose it? Oh, we lost the conduit to a snare. I should have put a. I should have just conduit already. What's this? What the hell is this? Is it just an agenda? Are we just baiting me? Draw for dirty laundry? Do we still? Yeah, we still have dirty laundries. Dirty laundry? Nah, but decent. I think draw again. Click, click. Maybe I make a run. Just, I think I want the counters. I'll be above 8. I'll be above 8. Okay. We got them to use their spin doctor, which is good. They put me a maze and 1 unseen. Okay, there was a retribution hanging around. And then we're just going to take money and make sure that we're kind of safe. I feel like I'd probably just score out. Okay. It might be time to start hammering HQ. Off. Yeah. Off-world made a lot of sense there. I think I smash HQ like 3 times. Oh, and we've got info baron. Well, we're definitely going once. We can use all our propeller credits on it, and then if it comes to it, we can install a turbine to get back through. We have scored no agenda so far, and they've drawn a lot. So there must be some stuff in it, right? Yeah, there's one. I think we go again. There's two. Do we go a third time? Tempted. Do we hit a snare if we go a third time? So if we hit a snare, we'll be down at one card. We will just considering snare possibilities. And spelling options. Um, hmm. If we hit a snare, we can clear the tag and still be on 8 credits. We will be in a terrible position for the rest of the game. But the rest of the game's basically over. If they're on hybrid releases, it's already essentially over. So I think we might run one more time and then take 3 off the Tellywag. Or alternatively, install the fermenter, which is probably too risky. Yeah, I don't mean hybrid release. What do I mean? Retribution. I mean the two. I mean the 2-1, which is the yellow one. What is that called? Oh, the brain's struggling today. Tell you what, having like a 2.5 week long cold really takes it out of you. We have to check this, right? Don't want to. It looks nasty. I also now have to install the turbine before I can get through a ping. Whoops. We think this is a ping. I mean, I guess I can boat it. Boat, boat. Yeah. I can put down a turbine to get in. I think if there's an agenda now, though, it goes in the remote. But I wonder how many times we can run this remote and still win. I'm going to draw once. Not great. So I'm going to vote, clear tag, play creative, or we could go on R&D. So many things that this could be, but it's also the best place to put an agenda right now. If this is a snare, I assume we lose. Also, if they're on 2-1s, then they're just with. I've just let them. I've basically just let them draw into them. They didn't draw 2 cards. Okay. We see a Drago. We trash a Drago. We'll remove a tag and play a creative commission. Yeah, them not drawing kind of suggests that they have what they need. I think this is what they need. So I think this is an amazing amusements with uh, tomorrow's headliner because it wins them the game. I think no matter what happens, almost. So we either take 3 tags. So we could go tag me here. It might be time. They drew off the ability, but they didn't draw two cards from the Serevna. Amazing Snare. It could be Amazing Snare. Um, I'd rather it was amazing. Would I rather it was amazing? Yeah, don't know. Now the problem is that I now kind of need to play the turbine just to get through, the the stuff. Hmm. I could go turbine. I can run once on R&D. I could check HQ and then clear the tag, which I'm going to take off. Oh, I think. Or I can go after this remote, which I think has the win for them. But I think I'm going to end up with at least 3 tags and probably, possibly 4. And then do I lose anyway? Going tag me is kind of tempting right now. Influence wise, like they've already thrown out 1 retribution. I think they're going to be on one end of the line. But end of the line doesn't kill us as long as we are careful with our cards. Don't think that they can be on any more than one because there's also seamless launches in here. There's probably 2 snares. One seamless launch seems a bit suspect, so like maybe there's at least 2 of these. So that's like 2, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then one more of one of these cards. Something along those lines. Yeah, I think we've seen an end of the line, but I don't think they can be playing 2. So we could just go tag me and keep 4 cards in hand and not die, I think. But I think the worst thing is that getting through Serevna is hard and getting through Ping is actually now really hard. Uh, because I need to install Turbine first to do it. Cool. It's a card, but I don't actually think it's useful here. I think I just hit down, I play the Turbine. I think, yeah, like Retribution isn't actually that bad right now, if it really comes to it. I mean, we're going to be, uh, money is going to suck because I don't know how we're going to get this other endurance down. I am going tag me, I think. No, because they might be on the 4-2. Although this gender suite doesn't look like they're on that 4-2, right? I can't break this. Wait, 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 wait. I have to be able to break at least the net damage. I can't eat the net, no, because I will die. Um, yeah, shipment will lose me the game. Freedom of information will lose me the game. Are we paying for this one just so we have one less tag? Is it worth it? I don't think it is because I'm assuming that we're going to have 3. So I think I'm just going to take all the tags and I'm going to take the tag from here. And I'm just going to see what happens. Also means that we don't have to let them draw here, which is like good. All right. If it's a snare, that's really bad for us. Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. Okay, so absolutely weird. Might as well leave that. That can stay exactly where it is. Okay, what are you going to do with your 6 tags? Score of freedom of information, search for freedom of information, search for shipment. Okay, it's not like a snap. It's not a snap. So this is okay. Yeah. Now, ironically, like if they trash our boat right now, I don't care. It's got no counters. I think the thing to trash right now is well, I guess either if you trash either propeller or turbine, then uh, I guess I'll tell you what, taking the last counter off propeller was probably a mistake, right? Backroom. Okay, now people start reminding me of all the ways that I can lose to like going tag me. I think I had to there though. Like whatever happened, I was going to be stuck with at least one tag. So I either get stuck with one tag and no money, or I just eat it. Um, I definitely should have kept one counter on propeller so that I could charge it though. That wasn't a consideration at the time. So if they trash either our propeller or our turbine, we have issues. End of a line is in the bin. Why is end of a line in the bin? Why is end of a line in the bin? So they must be just like agendas in hand. Yeah, I didn't even notice that until literally just now. I ran on archives last time just to get um the endurance counter and the info bounty. Oh, balls. um, okay, okay. This is problematic now because we think that this is a ping, and we know that they're on wraparounds, and both. Okay, I guess we can go like second boat. We can go second boat. I think this is a wraparound. What else would you put here? It could be an unsmiling Serevna. That's the only other thing. Which is a bit scary because I kind of don't want to lose my other boat. I think maybe boat run R&D. Maybe boat run R&D, run the spin doctor, run R&D again. Doing that, I'm going to take 4 damage. I'll let them draw a lot of cards. Or we go new boat, bounce R&D, run HQ. Hmm. So they had 2 retributions. Do they have another? I feel like do I run the spin first is like the real big question. I feel like install boat, bounce R&D. I think this is a ping. I don't care. then run HQ twice, or at least once. Probably just once, so that next turn I can still charge it. Maybe run this spin. Yeah, expected. Guess I probably draw a card last click just so that I'm safe-ish. Okay. Ooh, they're shuffling back. Okay, they're shuffling back so that they can try and draw into their retributions. Because they can get a pretty good lockout on us now. Especially as we do not have the money to deal with this. I think technically the ordering here is a little bit like suspicious. I've lost chat again, haven't I? Yeah, we can eat the Saverna for sure, but I'm not sure whether I'm going in here. I guess maybe I am. I don't think I fear um, EOL. Maybe I can continue here. C1, run HQ, C1. End of the line's in the bin. Don't know why chat keeps disappearing. I don't know if I'm accidentally shutting it. I might be. Yeah, let's just go through. Cards in our hand are like meh at best. Letting them draw two is actually like dramatic. But maybe not. Now there's more chance that they drew into agendas, right? Well, we're gonna lose our boat next turn, so we might as well run HQ. Oh yeah, like single accesses are all I have right now. There's a predictive that is not good for us. I just draw a card. There's nothing else I can do. I could try and run archives, but if they are on unsmiling, do I just die? If there's an unsmiling here, I literally just die. Ping based lockout, yeah. I'm gonna get locked out by ping and I think a wraparound on archives. Do have one more boat, but I do have no more money. Oh, okay. Um, that's a problem. I think that's GG as well. One, two. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. GG. Oh, we found one. Oh, we can actually deal with the magnet on archives, but I was assuming wraparound. Um, and oops. Oh no, I've done the thing. I've done the thing where I turned my computer off. I've probably frozen on screen, right? I bet. Yeah. Well, either way, I think that's going to be like where I call it a day. So I'll wave at everyone goodbye. That's fun. That's weird. Um, but hopefully, can you actually still hear me? You can still hear me? Because uh, if you can still hear me, then I'll say goodbye. Good night. Yes, excellent. Okay, cool. I won't sort this out now because I'm literally going to say bye. But thanks everyone for joining me tonight. Hopefully by next week I'll have finally got over this cold, and I will kind of put this into something more uh, of a spreadsheet, and maybe with some idea of breakdowns of how many cards you should include in your decks, all that stuff. If you want to win, and yes, it was a clickbait title. Thanks for the games, everyone. Source, particularly for that last one, that absolutely killed me in terms of my brain power. And I'll see you all next Monday. Ciao for now.